Welcome guys, today we are going to actually take apart a controller and show you how to mod your PS4 controller physically. There could also certainly be done certain other things with your controller, such as cheat mods and stuff like that. I do not recommend that. I only actually physically mod my controllers. This one was used by the kids before. I don't have any kids, but you can tell it was scribbled on and everything else like that. So basically, we're going to go today and we're going to show you how to put this together, right? So, there's 4 screws in the back of the controller. As you can see, I already went ahead and removed them. So, we're going to show you basically how to do this today. And I do apologize because, my camera skills ain't that great. I am using my phone for this as well. So, we'll try to set this down and try to get an angle that we can get something together here, kind of give you an idea. So you just kind of pop the controller apart, just like this, right? Now be careful, because the R2 buttons, the L1 and R2 buttons here, sometimes do like to have fun coming out. They do have clips as well, so that one decided to come out. If you guys can see, I pulled the controller apart, and you see this right here. You can just go ahead and grab this, pull this out right here. Now here's the back of the controller as well, so you really don't want to mess with any of this, although I have seen physical mods for this as well, to where you can put like different decals on the light bar and stuff like that. Now, if you have a different color like L2 and R2 that you buy off Amazon, eBay, whatever, you can just pop right out, You want to make sure sometimes too when you do it that you also want to know the what your controller is, because there's certain controllers or certain versions of controllers that mods work with. So, for instance, this is one of the I believe this is a Model 2, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to see the model number on this. As you go ahead and you see right here in the battery, you see right here in this connection right here, we're going to go ahead and pull that battery right on out. This is also how you replace a battery as well. If your battery goes dead, you can certainly buy things online too. This black thing right here, it just pulls right up. As you see right here, you can see the model number right here as well. So that's, right there is what you're going to need to know before you buy your mods, so you know what mods that you're going to buy. Usually most of the mods, like the front here, like your sticks, your buttons, up front, usually these are all universal between the different models. But where you really come into trouble is with the different models is your triggers and your bumpers, your right button and all that. So basically you just kind of pull up right up on this. This is the R1 button. And you see basically right here, this is the version 2 of the controller. Some also call it the version 4, depending on if you're using a Japanese or American. But simply, this controller right here was actually bought with my Destiny 1 white PlayStation. So we're going to get into this now. Right here, you can see that I'm going to pull this trigger up. They just clip right in. So they got these little clips right here. You can see here on the controller as well that, the little clips that they do go into. Let's try to see if I can get a good angle right there. There you go. Got the little clips here that they clip into. So once you get in here and everything else like that, there is one more screw. And you can see that's located right here. So we're going to go ahead and pull that screw. Alright, we pulled that screw, right? Now you see up top here, you want to disconnect this for the light bar. You want to be very careful though, because it is a very thin bar. You want to fold this back. You see it's got like a little tab. You want to fold this tab back and kind of push it in. See, I kind of pushed it in right there. And I can now pull this board up. Like I said, be very careful. Now we remove the whole board, right? So now we have just nothing but the shell right here. Again, I'm not too sure with the versions and everything else like that, but a lot of the versions also have the different poles and different things as well. So you can also buy skins for your controller, which are these outside shells. However, you know, like I said, do keep in mind that different models of the board have different things. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this like this. We're going to pull this up and out, right? And then we're just going to pull these out. I mean, certainly I could just flip the controller as well and kind of, you know, get the same result. But right here for the little PlayStation button, little pad comes out, and you'll kind of see that it has ridge, so you always want to keep that ridge up. There's a PlayStation button. And then, you know, there's just little plastic things right here. So you take these plastic things right here. Pull those plastic things out. There you go, boys. There's your D-pad. See again with these plastic right here. Pull that plastic right out. Again, you know, you can kind of tell the difference. This is the one for the D-pad. You can see it's kind of squarish. And you can see this one right here is the one for the buttons. As you can see, it's kind of roundish. So we're just going to be kind of like conspicuous here. We're just going to toss them all right there. So now, you know, now our front is completely empty. Our back still has, you know, all the components in it. So, you know, you don't have to really mess with the back unless you're going to do like light bar decals. And, you know, you can just easily pull this up and kind of just pull the plastic up and out of there. This is also how you would also, if you have a bad charge port, you can also do that as well as replace it here. So, now we're going to go back to the board, right? Here we are with the board as well. Again, like I said, you always want to make sure you're using the right parts for the right... Oh, and that's on there nice and tight too. Okay. Now we got these sticks right here, right? We can just pull these right up. There is no specific right or left on the sticks. As you can see now, this is basically your controller. You can see right here, here's the trigger for the button right here for the light bar. So now we got the controller stripped down, and you saw me do it. We're going to go ahead and re-put it back together to show you kind of how you mod your controller. So now, you know, you got all your mod pieces here, you know, you get them from Amazon or whatnot, and you know, you turn around and take the controller apart like we did. Like I said, the R1 buttons and the R2 buttons are pretty much the same regardless. It's where you get the right, the R1 and the L1, where you get a lot of the difference in the different models. So we're going to take this model right here. We're going to take these thumbsticks. As you see, they got the square in them. It doesn't matter if you put this one on the left or the right. What you're going to do is you're going to take it. You're going to put that right there on the pole. You know, make sure that you have a nice grip on the back, as they do sometimes slip. And this guy's fighting me. Okay, let's try the other one. We're just going to do it this way, and it clips right on. Again, we're going to take that. See right here, we got that. and boom, right on in. And you see right here now, fully functional, everything's working. Certainly, you can also take your controller apart using this and clean it as well. This one probably needs it as well. So now that we've gone ahead and done this, we're going ahead and take our triggers. As you can see, they are labeled, and most of them that you get are labeled. This is an R1. So we know this is going to go into the R1 slot. And of course, as you can see, it's got poles because this is a certain model, right? So you can see that they clip right on. And I missed, of course. I missed a hole. And we clipped it right on. And you see right here, you can hear the click and everything else like that you know, and you can feel the rubber that you know you're connected and you're good. You know that it's going to work. Clip the L1 right in there, and you see it's spongy and it's going in, working correctly. Okay, so right now we're going to put that on the side. And now we're going to go grab our front. Our front again, you know, right here as well with all the different button locations and everything else like that. And like I said, this is a demo controller, so this controller no longer works. So what we're going to do is right here we're going to take our D button, our D-pad, right? Now this doesn't matter. This is pretty much universal. It doesn't matter which way it goes. You know, you just kind of put it right in here, just like this as well. And then you're going to take this piece right here, your square piece. And they got these little holes in them. And you can see there's like these little poles right here. Right, so when you put this on there, you want to make sure that it's not the black side down. You want the black side right here facing you. You see these little black buttons. So you don't want the little plastic side. You want the black side. So you just kind of put those in there. Like I said, you want to make sure that you get the little holes on those poles. And make sure they're all lined up. And there you go. You just now installed your first D-pad. You can hear it with the plastic in the back. You can hear it kind of clicking. Knowing that, you know, it's installed right, nothing's hitting. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and install our PlayStation button. You know, a lot of the things that you get, some of them don't have the PlayStation symbol on them. Some of them are just a certain color. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our PlayStation button, right? You'll see too that if you want it a certain way, even if you want it upside down, it goes in. It can go in there two ways. But what I like to do is I like to make sure it's like this, you know, facing me. That way I can just take it, pop that guy right in there. And then, like I said, this plastic piece that goes over it, you'll see that it has like a little ridge on it. And that ridge, you always want to go upside. And again, it's got those holes in it. So you want to take those holes and put it right there on those poles. Make sure you press it firmly in there. And now we got a D-pad there. And everything's working right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead with our buttons. Okay. You see these right here? They don't have the PlayStation symbols on them like that. So, I mean, if you are a gamer that really likes your PlayStation symbols, then you know, you can get the different ones with the symbols on them as well. These do not. But be careful when you put these in here, because each one of these, with these mods, right? These mods are a little bit different. But with like the actual buttons, they actually have like these little tabs that you can kind of see here and here, and usually that, you know, only a button can actually fit in a certain spot. I mean, these certainly do have the tabs, and these like only fit in certain spots as well. So it's like, I think this is a triangle button, right? You have like your little different things, like I was talking about, the different locations and the different things to where you can actually see where your controller is sitting in, the different tabs. And like I said, this is a triangle button, I believe. So we're basically going to go ahead and fit that in there. And I'm wrong. So that wasn't the triangle button, guys. Do apologize there. So we can kind of fit it right here. And what, lo and behold, that's our circle button. So now the circle button's in there. Alrighty. I'm going to take another one, take a look at it. This one's got a fatter tab. So we're going to put it in here. That's not our triangle button. You know, trial and error sometimes. But I do believe that's the square button as well. So yes, it is the square button. As you see, now we do have it in there. We will take this one right here. We'll take a look at it. And we're going to try this in the X button right here, you know. And it certainly was the X button, so. Like I said, there you go. And that means our last button is, of course, the square button. So we're just going to fit that right into the hole right there. Oh, wait a minute. I was putting it backwards. Heh. Maybe that's why it didn't fit. Okay, as you see now that we actually have all 4 of our mods as well. So, again, like I said, this is the thing right here. And you always want these black tabs up. Right here, you don't want this side. But again, you see they got the holes in them that you want to make sure that you fit on the pole. And you don't want to forget this either, because it won't hit the control right. So again, there's like these little poles in here that you want to put this little thing on. And boom, look at that. Now you have working buttons. Okay. Now we're going to take these. These are your options buttons and your share button, right? And you want to take a look at them, and they certainly have these tabs on them as well. So, I mean, each one, they only go in there a certain way. As this right here is the share button, I believe. Nope, just lied to you. It's the options button. As you see, they got the tab in there. Now we have it installed. And certainly you can get mods for these as well. You can get mods for all the buttons. Certainly like this right here is a share button. There we go. Now we got those guys in. Now what we're going to do, let's see. Right, so we're going to take our board here. Right, we're going to set this down for a second. And here's our board again. We already got our R1 and R2s in, and we got our triggers in. Well, no, we don't got our triggers in. We got our sticks in, right? You're going to fit this back in here very carefully, right? Make sure you're all lining up. Make sure all your poles line up. Right, now we have the board back in. We're going to take this silver screw right here, right? And I dropped it like a dumbass. So now you can see this little silver screw. Right? And you can basically see right here that they're showing you right where that hole goes. Hey, there's an arrow. So we're just gonna set that in the hole right there. Take my trusty Cobalt screwdriver. Cobalt tools are very good. I use them all the time. They're not a sponsor of the channel or anything, but you know, just you don't want to tighten this too tight, especially with, you know, you might have to take your controller apart 1 or 2 times with mods sometimes, because sometimes some mods are a little bit thicker than others. So sometimes you want to try it a little bit here and there. Okay. We kind of screwed up here, guys. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Just kind of wondering what was wrong here. But, you know, we're all human. And, of course, I'm not going to edit that out. You know, I'm going to show you how easy, you know, because it just shows you how easy that mistakes can be made. So, you want to make sure that, you know, everything's firmly seated, too, as well. Now, we're going to take the D-pad. And why I have this, I'm going to speak a little bit about this, too, you know. Modding the D-pad is a little bit more advanced because these things are glued on here. They're glued on here very well. You have to literally pull this board out, and sometimes that doesn't allow the sensor to work as well. So I don't always recommend modding these. So again, you can kind of see on the controller here, you can kind of see right where the little holes fit in as well. And this is where the rocking comes in, where you can rock it back and forth for certain games. as well as like the sliding it back and forth. And you see inside is a little button. And here we go. We got this piece right here. You can kind of see right here where the little pieces fit in and everything else. And of course, you know, we got our strip right here. So we're going to take our front of our controller with all our mods on it. We're going to slip this bar in here, right? It just slips right over. It's got a little hook edge, so you want to hook that right in there. And boom. See, that fits right in there. Now we're going to do this the correct way. Now we're going to take our board here. We're going to kind of finesse it in here, nice and neat. Now the thing is too, right? You want to take this thing right here. Sometimes it does come in, sometimes it don't. Sometimes you got to fight with it a little bit, just a little bit, not too much. So you want to make sure that that goes in the window, and here we are, we're having a little bit of problems, you know. Of course, I'm doing a video. Of course, we're having a little problems. Sometimes too, having like a little pair of tweezers helps as well. Sometimes not, you know, certainly couldn't hurt, but you got to be careful, especially when you're using tweezers and stuff like that. I have not connected this yet. I done that for a reason, because certainly you don't want that moving around while you're putting the screw in and everything else like that. So here we go. We're just going to put that screw back in. Okay, like I said, you don't want to put it too tight, just kind of like just a little snug, because like I said, with the mods, you know, with different mods are thicker. So as now you hear and click. Here we are, we pretty much drew our physical mod. Now, like I said before, here's your clip right here. We're going to go ahead, very carefully fit this in here. It should just slip right on in. Now that we've done that, now we're going to basically get taken care of and put this together. Again, this is the battery tray. It's fairly simple. You can see like there's little holes right here that it clips into. One right here. And this is basically to kind of protect the board as well. A lot of people also didn't know this. I'll point this out as well. There is an actual reset on the back of your controller as well. It's right here. A lot of people don't know if your controller messes up, locks up sometimes. On the back, there's this little hole right underneath your L2 button, behind your L2 button though. And then you can kind of like take a toothpick or a needle or whatnot, and you can kind of poke at that reset button and definitely shut off your controller and restart your controller as well. So, getting back to the video, we're going to go ahead and put that right back into those holes. I kind of missed right there. As you can see, the battery tray is all nice in now. And you'll also see this is the battery. Like I said, this is also how you replace the battery as well. This battery certainly is shot. It does not work. It does not hold a charge. It is old as hell. But you can buy replacement batteries as well. As you see, it does have like a little tab, so you can only put this in one way. And as you see right here in our controller, you can see the little tab. You can see right there, the little hole where that tab goes into. So we're going to nice and put that in right there and just clip that right in. Look at that. Now the battery's hanging. And you can just set your battery right on in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our R2 right here. This is R2. Like I said, these really don't matter too much. And certainly too, if you're good about it and you're really into modding, I mean, if you really like trigger stops and stuff like that, if you're careful enough, you can drill a hole right here. And you can take a screw in there, and that will limit, like a lot of people do those on first-person shooters as well. And like I said, they have these poles. You can see these poles right here. Right here and here. And those just simply just click right in here. And of course, these, you know, these guys want to be not clipping in here today for some reason. You see now we have a working button in here. Some of these also have screws, so watch it. This model does not. But of course, like I said, that still doesn't matter when you're dealing with some of the L2s and R2s. We're just going to fit that right in there. Like I said, you want to kind of make sure you test your buttons before you put everything together. So you can tell this has the springiness. All my buttons seem to be working here. I'm going to hold the battery and flip it over. I'm going to press in. Make sure everything's gone. There we go. Now we're going to take our back here again. Like I said, you know, you got it marked right here. You got the blue side and whatnot. Right? So that blue side's always to the outside. You're going to take this cord right here and you're going to put it right back into here. Right back into this little tab right here. Right to the left of the battery. And certainly I'm kind of doing this backwards. So we're just going to connect it. It should go in there nice and firmly. Now you got the two parts of the controller hanging at each other. Now you want to take this and you want to go to the top first. Make sure that your R2 here and your L2 kind of fit right into the controller. These are what you want to do first. Push down. Push it down in. And of course, I forgot the important part here. You want to make sure that the battery stays in its spot. And certainly you just clip it together. Here we go so far. Now we got our controller back together. Now all that's left is, like I said, on the back here, you have these 4 little holes. And I certainly didn't take these off for you to see. I should have. But you know, there is controversy on these as well about some of these are tighter. These certainly aren't. I don't think these are the actual screws for this as well. But like I'm talking about, the controversy is there's some people that say, you know, even like when you're doing a tire, that you should always put the screws in across from each other, or some people say in a star pattern. So, I mean, I just kind of go back and forth on my screws as well. Like I said, I think I replaced that screw in the bottom, so it's weird. I mean, certainly the controller will work without all the screws in it as well. So, I mean, if you want to test your mods beforehand, you can always test it without the screws as well. So there you go, guys. Now you just basically hit your thing. As you see, I turned my controller on. This controller batteries, like I said, the battery's kind of shot on this, so it goes right off. But you can see that the light bar lights up right there as well. So now you know that everything's good. Everything's right there. At least it's doing that. And there you go. You're actually now able to enjoy your modded controller on your game. These right here are plastic as well. I'm not a big fan of plastic. I'm not a big fan of things that you put on them, the nubs or, you know, Game Freaks, everything else like that. You know, me, I prefer all metal buttons myself, and they cost a little bit more. But the buttons, the ones I have are certainly serrated around here as well. So if you like a sweater and stuff like that, you know, those will actually help you stay on the pad and won't let you slide off as well. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching today. That's the video. And certainly enjoy yourself.